Hello and welcome to Analytics Advantage. Thank you guys for checking back in. The channel is growing so rapidly, said nobody. But thank you guys for the few subscribers that I do have. Really just looking to put out as much good content as I can, enough stuff to help you guys make bets, and if nothing else, just better enjoy football. Whether that's being better at your fantasy league, winning some bets, winning some money, or just like truly taking an interest in the entire league, and kind of looking at more of like the macro level than the micro for football. So that all being said, if you don't know, Warren Sharp's book came out this week. It actually came out Monday, and I've just been like tearing through that thing. So a lot of great content, as always. Warren Sharp is amazing. The dude's a freaking beast. And one of the things that I will tell you right now, I've taken away and I've started to really just lean on is Warren's information. So it's kind of like being in Vegas, where like you don't want to ever say Vegas is wrong. You just kind of go with whatever they got up there, and you got to find maybe some little variations of what you think. Warren Sharp's information he gives you is not just as accurate as Vegas's information, it's even better. Vegas gets their information from Warren. So that being said, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because he has put out some information in his book that is just like invaluable. It's totally, the few little tidbits I'm going to give you here are amazing, and it makes the book worth the $30 that you're going to pay to get it. It's $35 if it's like after the pre-sale or whatever. It's worth it. I mean, I'd pay like $70. I'd pay $100 for this book. It's just like a textbook on football. It's amazing. But enough of being on his jock. So let's take a look at what we got here today. In his book, he does highlight each and every position on each and every team by rank, like 1 through 32. Who's the best, who's the worst, and my personal opinion, and something that again I've kind of gleaned from his books and his interviews and podcasts, and not just him, but really anybody that is a professional gambler and has been doing this for a while and isn't just talking out their ass, is that the two positions that matter most on a team are the head coach, number 1, and quarterback, number 2. The rest, yes, is important. Yes, you need an offensive line. Yes, you need good receivers. Yes, you need good secondary. All that other stuff. Yes, you do. It is going to help immensely to have talent all over the field. That being said, though, we're talking about the NFL. We're not talking about middle school players. It is kind of a given that these guys are going to be NFL caliber talent, and there's people who are paid very handsomely to just pick out the talent. So that being said, for today and for my personal handicapping, I really heavily lean on the head coach and the quarterback, and I will take their rankings much more to heart and to mean much more than any other position on the field. So as far as head coaches, 1 through 32, I'll tell you right now, no surprise, Bill Belichick is number 1, Andy Reid is number 2. Quarterback, number 1 quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Again, not a surprise. What I'm going to do with that information is we're going to put those together, and we're going to see which teams have the best combination of head coach and quarterback, 1 through 32. It doesn't fall out that way. The way the scoring system works is basically just an average of, hey, like you have the number 2 head coach and the number 1 quarterback, so your score is a 1.5. So we want the lowest score possible. I'm going to go in order of who's, what team ends up where. So the best team, according to this information, is the Chiefs. And you'll see that, and you can look through this screen if you want to pause it and kind of write this down, take it down, anything. I'm just going to read them off real quick, and I'm going to maybe just give you some notes on what I think and any maybe big changes that have happened on the teams that I found out about or read about or anything like that. So Chiefs number 1. Ravens are number 2 with Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. That's a little bit different only because Lamar Jackson is so reliant on his running game. I'm not saying he can't pass. I don't really think he can, but some people do, and he's okay at it, I guess. He's in the NFL. But he is very reliant on his legs to make plays. And if something happens, if there's an injury, if teams are just going to start, only focusing on the run and making him have to pass the ball to beat them, I think these scores might be a little high, and it could that could drastically change on a dime pretty quickly for the Ravens. So Packers number 3 with LaFleur, and that is again assuming that Rodgers comes in and plays. The Bills at number 4 with Sean McDermott, and I know I like Josh Allen, I really do, and I think that if it were up to me, I would flip him and Lamar. And the only reason I say that is because I think Josh Allen can do a lot of what Lamar Jackson can do as far as being able to run. He's not as good, I'm not saying that, but he can run. He can extend the play with his legs. He can also throw, and I think just overall the talent around him elevates him that much higher. When you have a guy like Stephon Diggs on the team that can help you out, it means a lot more than having to really rely on Hollywood Brown. Not to say that Hollywood's not a good player, but I don't think there's a debate on which one is the better NFL player today. Number 5 is the Rams with Sean McVay and Stafford. And honestly, Sean McVay is my favorite coach. I love that dude. I watch the Rams. I root for the Rams specifically for Sean McVay. If it were up to me, he'd be number 3. Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians and Brady, of course. Then we have Seahawks, the Browns, Cowboys, Patriots, 49ers. Nothing really shocking there. The only thing that kind of sticks out to me is the Cowboys being that high. And I'm not showing the rest of my screen because I do have the rest of the rankings. And just kind of out of respect to Warren, I don't want to give out all of this information because it is, information you have to pay for. So I'm going to give you this, and like I said, this is the primary information, or what I take to be the primary info. The rest, if you want to look at it, I'm sorry guys, I don't want to share too much of it, so you'll have to go out and buy his book. But I will kind of give you a tidbit on the Cowboys. They have some of the highest ranked positions and positional units. So Dak is ranked number 5 as far as quarterbacks are concerned. The running backs are really ranked high. The receiving core, as you can imagine, is ranked super high. Offensive line is even ranked really high. And again, I don't want to give too much, but I will tell you the offensive line is ranked within the top 5. So just kind of all over the place. They are a very top tier offensive team. The weakest link in their team as far as offense is concerned is the coach. And I've said this before, coaching to me matters the most. I don't care how good your players are. If they have a terrible coach, they're not going anywhere. And with Mike McCarthy, I do not see the Cowboys going anywhere. Maybe they'll win the division. Maybe. But I think to win the division, it's going to take a lot of luck going their way. And it's going to be the players winning in spite of their coach, not because of their coach. And he is really, if we're looking at the top 10, 12 teams here, he is the absolute worst coach of the teams that are ranked this highly. He is the only one that has a coach below, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You'd have to go to team 18 to find a coach that is ranked lower than the Cowboys coach. He's currently ranked as the 9th best team on the board. So after that, we go back to the Patriots, 49ers, Titans. Again, nothing super surprising here. Cardinals, the Saints. I'm actually kind of surprised the Saints are so low, but the quarterback ranking is pretty low. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if this 24 ranking is which quarterback it's for. It might be for Winston, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to find out more about that, and it could change. But either way, I'm just kind of surprised that the Saints are so low and so many people are so high on guys like Alvin Kamara and Mike Thomas. The Vikings, again, same thing. I think that the coaching is decent. It's average, and the quarterback is about average. And so that you end up with a pretty average team. But I think that Warren and other handicappers would really like this team a lot more if they were to get out of this run first mentality and kind of put some more of the pressure on Kirk Cousins and the receiving core, especially with guys like Jefferson. You don't need to be running the ball so much, and like I said, I think there's a lot of handicappers out there that would agree with that. Steelers, again, who knows what we're going to get from there. Coaching seems good. Ben is seeing better days. Dolphins, Chargers, Raiders, Washington. Washington is kind of a tricky one. And going back to what I was saying about the Cowboys, I think Washington is I think they're a good team, and I think they have talent across the board. I don't think it's superior talent. I don't think they have like elite talent really anywhere on the team. Gibson is really good. So is McLaurin, but they're not like top tier guys. And even for fantasy, it's not like they're top 5, maybe top 10, like kind of scratching at that. But you really got to make an argument for them. And I think that Washington could win that division again, as long as they stay healthy. And it's really going to just be on the back of being very average, which sucks to say about an NFL team. Like, all you got to do is be average to win your division. But Washington has the possibility to be very average and win that division again, and have Ron Rivera keep his job. Not that he's on the hot seat or anything, but have him keep his job for much longer than some people expected to begin with. After that, we have the Colts, and again, here I'm just really surprised that the Colts are so low. I totally understand it is because of the quarterback, and if you watch my previous videos, you know I'm fading the Colts. I'm betting against them week 1. I have several tickets for them, whether it's under their win total, to lose the first game. I'm just totally fading the Colts. I don't even really like Jonathan Taylor as a fantasy player. There's just too many things working against them. But at the end of the day, it's not their coach. Their coach is above average, and I think even this 12 rating he has is like a little bit low for him. He's probably top 10 for me. I mean, I wouldn't put him like any higher than that, but he's around like that 9-10 rank for me. It's just Carson Wentz. We have no idea what we're going to get with him. Is he going to go back to being like a Super Bowl caliber quarterback from 2017? And he actually worked with Frank Reich in 2017 on that Eagles team. Can Frank kind of get that stuff back out of him, get that good Carson Wentz back out? Or is he just not good? He didn't do well with the Eagles last year. A lot of that was because of personnel and because of usage. So it's possible, it's very possible that Carson Wentz is better than what we saw with the Eagles, and he's kind of maybe somewhere in the middle between. He's not as good as he used to be in 2017, but he's not as bad as he was looking last year, and I think that's probably what we're going to get. So I don't know if that's the 25th ranked quarterback. I think it's probably closer to like 20th, but either way, they have him pretty low. Next is the Falcons. Falcons is just, who knows what's going to happen there. They have a new coaching staff, they got some new players, they got a little bit of everything. So they obviously lost Julio. This is a really low ranking, and to me it's a lot of it's due because of the ambiguity behind it. We really don't know what kind of approach they're going to take. We just know that their personnel is not really suited to be a great team. The Bears, the Bengals, and the Bengals is another one where Joe Burrow, they have him ranked as a 16th quarterback. I don't want to say he's like top 10, but I would definitely have him higher. Just on the back of what I saw him do with LSU and the way I saw him used, I think he is one of those quarterbacks that is going to rise in relation to the coach. So he has a 28th ranked coach, so he's a 16th rated quarterback. If he had, let's say you put him on, I don't know, the Patriots, or the number 1 overall coach, he probably goes to like a number 8 or 9 quarterback. And so all the quarterbacks are at least somewhat tied to their head coach, but I think he especially is going to be valued according to how his coaching staff operates and how they use him. Panthers, Jaguars, Broncos. That's, again, not really a surprise. All those teams are not really expected to do much. Urban Meyer with the Jaguars is going to be, again, a total crapshoot. I don't think it's going to be good. And if you've watched these videos before, one of the things that I've kind of researched and found throughout the years, at least throughout the last 10 years, is that a rookie quarterback linked up with a first-year head coach averages about 19.5 points a game. I don't think that team is going to be very high scoring, and I don't think you're going to win a lot of games if you can't put up more than 24 points on a regular basis. So, especially when your defense isn't like amazing either. So, anyways, that is what it is. After the Broncos, though, we have the Giants and the Eagles to round out the NFC least, and Man, that division is just such a terrible. How does that happen? How do you have like so many bad front offices in one division? That's terrible. The fact that, like I said, Washington could win this thing by just being average. Because either way, whether you think it's going to be Washington or you think it's going to be the Cowboys that win the NFC East, you're thinking either one, Washington's going to win this by just being very average and having a good defense, maybe a little bit of an above average defense, and that's how they're going to win the division, or you're thinking the Cowboys are going to just have this crazy offensive output and they're going to be able to put up, 45 points a game, and they're going to edge out teams in like 45 to 41 kind of games or 42 kind of games. Either way is not good. Either way, either team that wins that division, I just don't see them going anywhere after maybe winning the division. They'd have to get really lucky and have things just really break their way to make any sort of deeper playoff run, more than like a game into it. The Eagles and the Giants, the one thing I will say though, and a lot of people are already kind of, shitting on these teams. The Eagles, for as bad as they've been the last year or two, are really built to win now. Like, this is their, quote-unquote window. After 2017, they pretty much went all in on that team. And, yeah, there's been a lot of injuries. They've had to deal with a lot of, receivers missing time and even trying to kind of bring on Miles Sanders a little bit slow and then bring him in, and he got injured. And, quarterback injuries, and then Carson Wentz is now gone. But for the most part, that team is relatively still there. They still have a good offensive line. You still have a lot of the same kind of core guys that were there, the skill players, that is. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to coaching again. How is Doug Peterson going to prepare these guys? He's ranked as the 29th best coach, or the fourth worst, 32, 31, 30, 29, yeah, so fourth worst. And that's really what it comes down to, guys. Samuels, I think, could be a great quarterback. He's got the talent. He can move the ball. He can, extend plays. I think he can do a lot. But when your coach just isn't helping you at all, it's just an uphill climb. And I don't care how bad or how good your talent is around you. When you have a young quarterback and the coach isn't helping and nobody's really established and they don't really know what to expect one week to the next, that's really what's doing it. But at the same time, this is one of the few teams that I see down here that I could see surprising everybody, just because they have the veterans on the team. They can kind of keep this thing together and, again, win kind of in spite of their coach and make a run at the division. I'm not going to be excited about it, but again, they're one of the teams that could do that. Then you have the Jets, the Lions, and the Texans, and those are the three bottom feeders we all knew going in. The Texans are the absolute worst with 32nd ranked quarterback and 32nd ranked coach. Obviously, if Watson was back there, he's not the 32nd ranked quarterback. Odds are he's not going to be back there ever again if the Texans and Watson has his way. So you kind of have a feeling now for how these teams are ranked, 1 through 32, according to Warren Sharp's rankings of quarterback and head coach. And the quarterback-head coach combination is my own personal ranking system. This maybe sounds a little crazy, but I will tell you to look at Madden when the game comes out. And I believe that's Madden 22. It's going to come out in, I believe, 8 days. I think it's the 22nd that it gets released. But either way, even if you don't buy a copy of it, Google the rankings for the quarterbacks, and there is a book out there that has actually discussed and gone into depth about how well the people that work on that game are at actually ranking the talent, and how that kind of what the coefficient is between the ranking on Madden and the actual output in the real life football games. And what was discovered was that if your quarterback ranking is higher than your opponent's quarterback ranking, you immediately have the upper hand. And according to Madden and the simulations and the way that things are run, each point, as far as the ranking is concerned, is worth about 0.3 points. So if you have a quarterback who's 10 points higher than the opponent, it's basically a 3-point line. So then there's also coaching, and there's like coefficients for that. But the easiest one to look at is just look at your quarterback rankings, look at the overall rankings, because I don't think they have like a coach ranking in particular. Maybe they do, I'm not sure. I have to look at it this year when it comes out. But look at those on Madden as well. See how they line up with these numbers. And if anything, this will be a really good tool to use throughout the beginning of the season when the books are kind of trying to get stuff worked out and trying to get lines worked out and point expectations and things like that, and they don't have a lot of data to go off of yet. We at least have the upper hand for the first few weeks, knowing that we have all of this info and all the people that have worked all off season studying, researching, detailing who has the better talent, whether it's coaching or players on each team, and how much that should be valued. So keep all this stuff in mind, guys. Again, and I cannot harp on this enough, if you are going to be betting the NFL, the earlier portions of the season are the best, and you want to kind of fade off as you get into the season. By about the halfway point in the season, if not a week or two earlier, the books are going to have the upper hand. You're at that point, it's literally just a race to get to the number. And at that point, it's not even about the little guys. It's the syndicates, the big $1 million syndicates that are in Vegas racing to get to the best number. And then once they get it and they move the lines with their millions or thousands or whatever they're betting, we're kind of just left with the scraps and trying to find out, you know, what we can maybe cherry pick from there. And then at that point, you're not only competing with the bookmakers, but you're also competing with these syndicates who have literally dedicated their lives, their work, to getting these numbers, to betting millions of dollars on it and winning millions of dollars on it, and the bookmakers who do this for a living. And then there's you with the spreadsheet. And yeah, you get my point. You want to get your money in the NFL early in the season before the big guys have all their data and before they get everything too sharp to really get, leave you anything on the table. So take in as much of this information anywhere you can. Read the books, watch these videos, get Madden, look at ratings, do simulations, everything you can to get as much money as you can the first, I would say, like 6 to 8 weeks of the NFL season. And again, even at that, it's kind of like, the diminishing returns after like week 4. And you might have like 1 or 2 weeks where you're like really, really good, maybe like week 6 or 7 where your data is perfect and the others haven't caught up, and you'll have that one really good week where you go like 3-0 or 4-0. I've had that each of the last 3 years. One year was week 7, the next year was week 8, where I just went like 4-0 on my bigger bets, and it was great. And then after that, you can noticeably see the decline. So keep all this stuff in mind, guys. Please comment, like, subscribe below. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to go over. If there's anything very specific that you're wondering is in the book, or any other books that I may have read, any other YouTube channels, anything else. I can promise you I've probably heard of it, unless it's super obscure. And if it's a book on betting, there's a good chance I own it, I've read it, or I've at least learned something from it. So have a good day, guys. Thank you again for the support, and appreciate any comments and subscribes below.